Welcome to the MyNewMortgage.ca homebuyer video series. Today we are joined by Andrew Brown. Andrew is a lawyer with Campbell, Mahalovich, Ugenti, based out of Hamilton, Ontario. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you very much.
Andrew, why does a purchaser of real estate need a lawyer involved in the process?
The role of the lawyer is really twofold. The first reason is to ensure that you as a purchaser receive good and marketable title to that property. The second reason and the second role is to ultimately convey that title to you. So when you want good and marketable title, that's what you think that you're buying. You sign your agreements with your real estate agent. We want to make sure that you get everything that you have bargained for. What we do is we perform title search. We use our skills to identify possible problems and defects with title. Because when you are buying property, you're actually buying title to that property. And that's the bundle of rights that allow you to occupy that property, live there, and prevent others from living there. What we can do is to make sure that there's no unanticipated mortgages, other encumbrances like liens or executions that may be registered on that title. We can identify those and then work with you and the vendor's lawyer to clean all that up so that when you ultimately get conveyed the title, you have the ability to freely do what you want with it. Basically, you can put mortgages on that title and then ultimately sell that property yourself without any problems. Secondly, the lawyer's role is to convey that property to you. So that's registering that conveyance. Doing all of that, we also work with your lender. So we receive mortgage funds, we receive any purchase proceeds, we hold that in our trust account, and we work with the vendor's lawyer to transfer all of those funds as directed.
Could you touch on some of the costs that are associated with the closing process?
Sure. What we do is, as explained before, the title searching. There's a certain cost associated with that, and those are disbursements to us. So pulling the documents, depending on the amount of problems that may be with title, those could amount to more than other deals. We search executions. We make requests to the utility companies to make sure that there's no outstanding utility bills. Sometimes that costs money depending on the utility provider. We search with the municipality for a request a tax certificate. And so that's another fee. Those are all the disbursements. And of course, to register documents, there's a fee associated with that goes to the government. All of those disbursements are subject to HST, so that's another cost involved. What you're also going to have is sometimes mortgage payouts. Sometimes you're going to have real estate commissions, of course, that come out of those costs. Of course, your legal fees. All of those are subject to HST, and those are what you can count on in any particular deal to have to come up with as part of your transaction.
Sometimes people have to pay property tax at the time they take ownership of the house. Can you explain why they have to do this?
Sure. And to clarify, you will never have to pay property taxes for times that you do not own title to the property. What you'll see sometimes on what's called a statement of adjustments that your lawyer will prepare is that, let's say that you are purchasing your property on February 1st. The people that you're buying the home from have paid the property taxes from January 1st to March 1st. What the city does, it won't refund that vendor the taxes that they've already paid. So they've prepaid. What you will get on your statement of adjustments is saying that since the vendor has paid up to March 1st, the vendor will get credit from February 1st, the day that you take title to the property, until March 1st. And they get credited with that amount because really that property tax is really owed by you as a new purchaser. And so that gets added to the purchase price. The same is true as if you bought it and taxes are owing. You'll get credited as a purchaser for on the purchase price. So that means you'll pay less to reflect that you're going to have to pay some municipal taxes for the time that you do not own the home. Really, it all comes out in the wash. It just looks like either you're paying or that you're receiving credit for at the time of the purchase.
Handyman specials or fixer-uppers are very popular right now. Can you talk about what a first-time homebuyer should know when looking to purchase one of these properties?
Okay, so when you're talking about a property that you're buying that could use a lot of work, or that you know that has had work performed on it recently by the previous owner, what you're going to be wanting to look for is work orders. Your lawyer will help you with that by, when they search title, if it's been a particularly problematic property that's been assessed by the city's building inspector, there will be work orders registered on title, and that will be found out during the lawyer's title search. And then they can go through the process of cleaning that up so that you, as said before, get good and marketable title. What's most often is that work orders are not registered on title and are instead registered with the city. What has become practice is that work orders are not regularly searched with the city by lawyers. If you know that this property has been subject to extensive renovations, you can yourself or direct your lawyer to search with the city, because it's not in the normal practice going to be doing that. What we do instead is rely on title insurance, so that if there is work orders that we don't know about, it will be covered by title insurance.
In a hot market, sometimes clients are asked to have no conditions on their purchase agreement. Is this a wise thing to do?
Conditions are there to protect you as the purchaser. Some of the most common conditions are a condition on a satisfactory home inspection performed by someone retained by the prospective purchaser. Another is that the purchaser is able to receive appropriate financing to afford the purchase. When you waive those conditions, or you don't have those conditions put into the agreement, what you're doing is if there is a problem with the house that is uncovered when you do a home inspection, because you are still going to want to do a home inspection, and you find some significant and troubling features about the property that you didn't know about, or you find out that you aren't going to be able to receive financing for any number of reasons, if you don't have those conditions as part of your agreement, you're going to be sacrificing your deposit that you've placed. And deposits can range anywhere from 1% to 20%. So basically, if you are willing to sacrifice your deposit if something is found out, or that you aren't able to receive financing, then you can have it no conditions. Otherwise, it's not advisable.
For many first-time home buyers, condominiums are a very popular choice. Can you explain some unique aspects of this and what every first-time home buyer should know when purchasing one?
Sure. Condominiums are popular, and they're popular because there's a lot of certainties in what you're purchasing, because some of your maintenance is taken care of, and you get access to a certain amount of facilities that are on that condominium. What really needs to be made aware, purchasers need to be made aware of, is that when you choose to live in a condominium, you need to be following the rules, the bylaws, what's called the declaration of the condominium. It really is a separate community within the wider community. You need to be satisfied that you're going to be able to live by those rules and have neighbors that are going to want to enforce those rules. And your use and enjoyment of that property is going to be contingent on your ability to follow that and get along with those other people. When you sign a agreement to purchase a condominium, you're going to want to make condition on satisfactory review of a status certificate provided by the condominium corporation, and that will identify a lot of things about the state of the condominium corporation. The financials, how much money they have in reserve, how financially strong it is, so you can make an assessment on whether they're going to have to increase common expenses and therefore you're going to have to pay more, or if they have a special assessment because they have had a roof cave in and you're going to have to pay for that as a unit owner. It also helps you at that time review all of the governing documents for the condominium, and then you can, for instance, if they have a rule that says no pets are allowed and you have some beloved animals that you want to bring with you, well then this condominium is not for you, okay? And then things like that will help you identify whether this condominium and living in that specific community is a good choice for you.
Can you talk about the land transfer tax and the exemption that applies for first-time homebuyers?
Sure. Any purchase of real property in Ontario is subject to land transfer tax, and it's a percentage of the purchase price. On a $250,000 purchase, approximately the land transfer tax is $2,225. There is an exemption available for first-time home buyers, and that is up to $2,000. So on that $250,000 purchase, you will be exempt as a first-time home buyer if you have never owned a property previously for that first $2,000. So you still be subject to $225.
When a first-time home buyer has somebody on title who is not a first-time home buyer, how does the exemption apply in that case?
Okay, good question. Because oftentimes, because of financing reasons, the lender will require a co-signer to be put on title. What can be done is that co-signer can be put on as a 1% owner, and the first-time home buyer can be 99% on title. And how that affects the exemption is that you'll be eligible for 99% of the exemption. The same goes as if you purchase a property with someone who has previously owned a home, and so that the ownership is, if it's 50-50, you'll be eligible for 50% of the exemption, so that being $1,000. So anything above that exemption, you'll have to pay the land transfer tax. Another situation to be made aware of is that if you marry someone who already owns a home, and you are living in that home as your matrimonial home, and then you turn around and sell that property and move into a new home, you are considered not to be a first-time home buyer because you live somewhere as a matrimonial home, and therefore you will be subject to no exemption and have to pay the full land transfer tax.
If you didn't see the answer to the question you had today, you can look at our Ask the Expert section of our website. Andrew, would you be interested in helping us out with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, just contact me anytime and I'll do my best to provide you with some solid information.
Great. Thanks a lot, Andrew.